Hello and welcome to another live AM language lesson with me, Richie. I hope you're all doing well and you're having a great day. Where I am in the world, which is Malta, um, it's a sunny day. It's you know what? It's a glorious day. That's what it is. It's a glorious day. Roberto, good afternoon, buono pomeriggio, and welcome to today's lesson. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad that so many of you have already found the link online on YouTube to today's lesson. I'm struggling to find it on my one. Oh, there it is. Good. Okay, so it's popped up. Leondina, good afternoon and welcome to today's lesson. Marek, you too, welcome back to today's lesson and thank you for joining. Let's see. So, guys, this week, what can we expect? Well, today is Soften Your Language, English for Work. So that is what we're going to look at today. De Burke, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. So yeah, today we're going to look at Soften Your Language. Irina F, good afternoon. Privyet. Soften your language is a really important skill to know how to do in English. And you don't have to be of a high level to do it. Obviously, the higher your level, the easier it might be, but it's not restricted to just high levels. You can start to learn how to do this from a lower level as well. Brigitta, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you very much. If this is your first time, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We are up to 560 subscribers. So over the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, let's see if we can get that close to 570. Alida, welcome back to the lesson. To the channel. Buenos dias, as you are in South America. So yes, so today, Soften Your Language, English for Work. Tomorrow, we've got signpost words. Be more coherent. Wednesday, we've got what are they really saying? Listening skills. Thursday is constructive criticism, how to be tactful. This is a really important skill to know. There's a cultural element to that lesson as well. And finally, Friday is going to be music English. And over the Christmas period, every Friday is going to be music English and something related to Christmas. In this case, Christmas songs. So Friday, music English, Christmas songs. So we'll look at a couple of Christmas songs in English. So yeah, that's what is on the list for this week. So please make sure you tune in to join us. As for AM language itself, what I can say is if you are in Malta this coming week, you've got some things you can look forward to. Obviously, it's meet and greet, and there's a social element to this, and that's a standard thing on Mondays. Tomorrow, you've got the opportunity to go to Popeye Village. There's a tour around Malta. And there's also the option to go to the Intercontinental Hotel to where you can have a spa treatment as well. Wednesday, you can go to the south of the island. There's also the option to go bowling, and there's a football match as well. Thursday, hot yoga and Pilates as well in the morning. Is that in the morning? I'm not sure what time actually. No, it's in the evening, sorry. So in the evening on Thursday, you have the option to do hot yoga and Pilates, and there's also make friends and speak English at Surfside. Friday, you've got Drive Through Christmas, the full experience. Check out AM Language's Facebook page to read about that. Saturday, Gozo Christmas Tour. And casino as well. There's the option to go to the casino if you like that sort of thing. And then Sunday, there's the Explorer Pass South of Malta tour that you can also do. So that's on the list for this week. As for, I do have an announcement to make, actually, and it's a congratulations to a student of ours. So there is there's a student who will be leaving us shortly. However, I'd like to send a big thank you. Oh, no, not a big thank you. A big let me start again. So we have a student who is an IELTS student named Izu. They're from Korea. If I'm not yes, they're from Korea, and I want to congratulate them because this person recently did their IELTS exam. They needed a 5.5, and they went and got a 6. So well done to Inzu. Congratulations, very well done. Okay, guys, so let's get into today's lesson. The way this is going to work is I'm going to see what you guys can do already, and I will then contribute to show you other ways you can say something. So soften language skills. What we mean by this is instead of using hard language, we use soft language. Now, what do I mean by hard language? Hard language, okay, would be potentially rude or overly aggressive language, okay. I'm going to give you some examples. Overly aggressive. That's a key, that's an important thing to distinguish there. Okay, let me just share that. Okay, so the examples would be something like using words like stupid, idiot, if you're going to be overly aggressive, it could be words that are, well, raising your voice, really. So, generally speaking, raising your voice. This is effectively shouting to get your point across. Alida says, arsehole, moron. Yep, that's correct. So those type of words. It can sometimes be really difficult to put your point across or to try and put across a slightly different, idea of something or opinion, should we say. So I'm going to see what you guys would come out with. And I am going to then introduce some other ways. So you might come out with good ideas already, but there will always be the opportunity to add. Elia, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. And Evelina, good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Welcome to today's lesson. So we're going to start off with the first one over here, okay? So that's a stupid idea. Apostrophe. No, sorry, not apostrophe. Exclamation mark, okay? So that's a stupid idea. Question is, how can we say this differently? Now, there's going to be an opportunity for everyone here to learn from one another because some of you will already have an idea of how you can answer this. And some of you might not know how to say this more politely. So the situation is someone has said something that you disagree with. You're not sure what to say. You think maybe the idea is a bit stupid, but we don't want to say stupid. So how can we say this differently? That's the important thing. I'll wait for you guys to introduce your own ideas in the live chat. And then in about a minute, I'm going to introduce I'm going to give you some examples. Please make note of the examples as well. So try and write them down as they come up, as these examples come up. Alida, thank you for contributing. I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, that's one idea to go with. It's a good sentence. It's easy to understand. So we're off to a good start. I'll give you guys another 30 seconds in case anyone else would like to contribute. Roberto says maybe it was a silly idea. Silly. This isn't going to be classified as softening. Silly is still, I mean, it's okay. It's not as hard as the word stupid, but it's still not soft enough. It's still a word we'd have to be careful of. So that's kind of, it's not quite there, but it's an improvement on stupid. So my suggestion would be this. Okay, so someone has said something and you think it's a stupid idea in some way, okay? It's not a good idea. Some examples. Okay, option one, you could go with something like, so we're going to start off with something a little bit similar to Alida, and then I'll expand from there. Elia has said that's a dumb idea. If you say that's a dumb idea, it has the same meaning as stupid, and therefore it's not softening the language. It's still hard. Marek says that is mindless idea. Well, if you say it's a mindless idea, that is also not softening the language. It's the same meaning as stupid, really. So I'm going to start off with something a little bit like Evelina, and then we're going to expand on it. I don't think that is the best idea. Two, that idea has some problems with it. Sandra says, good afternoon, Sandra. Maybe that's not the way to go. That is actually a good suggestion. So you've got one. I don't think that is the best idea. Two, that idea has some problems with it. And then you can explain. Three, hello, Sandra. Three, you could say, if you want to be polite, if I may say so, that idea sounds misinformed. Okay. Now, this is quite a good one, misinformed. If I may say so, that idea sounds misinformed. We might come back to this one because we can adapt it. But the really good thing about this one is misinformed. You're not telling them that they're stupid. So you're not going in with a really hard, aggressive language. You're saying that the information they have or their understanding of the information is incorrect. So this is a very polite way of doing things. And I strongly recommend using this one here. If I may say so, that idea sounds misinformed. So it's a really good one to use. I'm going to finish off with a fourth one for this one. Okay. We could go with this one. If I may, yes, you can use that. You can replace, if I may say so, with if I may, as a request. In certain situations, you can do that. However, I would say in a discussion, it's always probably better to go with if I may say so. If I may is more like with a request to do something. So the fourth suggestion I'm going to leave you with is that idea sounds incomplete. So when to use this one? This is a good one to use when you sound like the idea isn't very well formed. Okay, there's a lot of missing elements to the idea, but maybe there's one or two little bits of that idea that you think you can work with. So when you think it's not 100% bad, but maybe there's 10 or 20% that is good and the rest isn't, you can then go with this suggestion, with this term. That idea sounds incomplete. So it's not finished. We're missing lots of things. But there's enough to begin with where we can work with it. There's something to work with anyway. Alida says, but they are too formal, aren't they? You won't talk like this to a friend. It depends on the situation, Alida. So when to use this language? We use this language when you are going to have a serious conversation of some kind. So this is ideal for the workplace. Absolutely. This is ideal when you are in an educational environment. And this can also be very good with strangers or people you don't know very well. So it depends on the context. If you're having a serious conversation, go with this language. That would be my recommendation. Roberta says, I'm sorry, Richard, I meant your 3 sentences. Is it correct? If I may say so, wasn't it, if I may so? Okay, if I've understood you, Roberto, yes, you can introduce if I may say so at the start of all of them. If I've understood your sentence, your question, sorry, Roberto, then yes, you can introduce that at the start of any of those sentences. Okay. Evelina says, I also think like you. Okay, yes, it's a good idea to know this language. Okay. So let's go in with the next one and we'll see what you guys can say. Please keep a note of the ones I suggest. I'm going to give you guys an exercise towards the end. Okay, so let's go with the next one. Okay, that's a daft. That's a daft suggestion. Okay, daft, by the way, is UK English, and it's another word for stupid. Okay, again, it's a good one to know. In English, we've got a lot of words for stupid, and daft is another one. Some people, if you're in the north, if you come from the north of England, you might hear people would say daft. If you are in the south of England, you would hear people pronounce it as daft. Okay, but it's another word for stupid. So you might hear someone say, that's a daft suggestion. Okay, how do we reply to this? I'm going to give you guys a clue. I'm going to give you guys some time again. Feel free. You might want to play around with some of the ones I've suggested. I've suggested, and then we'll expand and we'll have a little look at this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute again. Let's see if you guys can come up with some things. You won't be wrong if you think, okay, if I look at 1, 2, 3, 4 that Richie has posted before, if I just change the word idea, for example, maybe it can work. And I do suggest that if this is new to you, go with that. Okay, try and take one of the suggestions that we've seen already and try and use it for this situation. Leondina says, with this suggestion, people may misunderstand you. Okay, in certain contexts, Leondina, I think that's a very good one. So I'm going to say yes to that. I think it sounds constructive. So well done, Leondina. That's a good one. Marek says, that is an unfortunate suggestion. An unfortunate suggestion. I think there's almost an element of humor about that one, Marek, but you could use it. But don't forget, that is an unfortunate suggestion. We need the article an instead of there. And Sandra says that is not a good suggestion. Maybe on that one, Sandra. The thing that we need to consider at sometimes is how we say it. I would say that there's also a cultural element. Now, I know that in Germany, for example, Germany, there's a culture whereby you very much say what you think, and you let's say you don't want to mix your words. You're more direct, generally speaking. In which case, in Germany, that I can imagine would not be considered as in any way rude. In English, that's going to depend on the culture of your work environment. If this is a work environment, that's going to depend on your work culture. If you are in certain work cultures, let's say medicine or business, most businesses, then that might be okay. I think if you're in other working cultures, such as maybe more educational ones, depends who you're talking to. You won't be able to get away with that every single time. It does depend on your audience. Alida says, that may sound a little inappropriate. I like that one a lot, Alida. That makes sense. Sandra says, yes, but I like the English way more. Oh, fair enough. Okay, guys, my suggestions. It's not an advisable. You've got two ways of putting this. Again, I'm going to put this in brackets because you don't need it, but you can use it. So number one, you could say, if I may say so, that's not an advisable suggestion. You can play around with that and say, let's say number two, that's not the most advisable suggestion. Okay, so you can play around with that a little bit. You can add most. Advisable is a really good word to use here. Obviously, if it's advisable, it means it's good advice. If it's not advisable, then it's not good advice. So if you tell someone that's not if you're saying that's not an advisable suggestion, you're saying that's not a good suggestion, but you're using what we call softened language. It's actually more, it's very polite. It has the same meaning, but it sounds a lot more polite. And it's also the sort of, you get a better reaction from it. This is the other thing that we need to think about. The reason why you use softened language is because you want to get the best reaction possible. When you use hard language, people might stop listening to you and might just say no to whatever you say because they don't like the language you're using. However, if we use softened language, we can still say our opinion, but because the language isn't as aggressive or as rude, even though it is carrying the same meaning at the end of it, people don't feel as threatened. Let's put it that way. So this is why this is good. And three, what we could do is what's the word I'm thinking of here to finish off this? Okay, I'm going to go with this one for you. This is quite a difficult, this is a longer one, but it's quite a good one. I feel that suggestion is lacking to a degree. Okay, what does this mean? First of all, I feel this is the sort of language we use when we really are giving our opinion. So I feel this is clearly your opinion. Okay. So I feel that suggestion is lacking to a degree. What do we mean by that? Okay. Lacking is simply not enough of something. And degree means, let's say, maximum, empty, okay? Meaning it's not maximum, okay, to a degree. So this is in terms of how full something is. What we really are saying is that suggestion is not well thought out enough, okay? Or you need to think more about that suggestion. So that's what we are really saying, suggestion, okay? That is what we're really saying here. So when you say, I feel that suggestion is lacking to a degree, it's the same as saying you need to think more about that suggestion. You need to give it more thought. That's what we're really saying. So that's a good one to know. I feel that suggestion is lacking to a degree. And then you can go on and explain why. Evelina says, German seems very harsh as the language always seems angry. I think it depends. I don't know, Sandro, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. Whether in Germany people have the same idea. It's always difficult when you hear other languages. Like some languages naturally sound a little bit softer. Other languages definitely sound harder. I can say that if you listen to, if you ever do come to Malta, or if any of you have been in Malta, and you hear the local language Maltese, it does sound like quite a harsh language at times. I think it's the same. You can also find it with different accents in English. So there are some accents in English where the language sounds naturally soft. That's your that's kind of English you hear in movies, for example, with Hugh Grant and Colin Firth, sort of thing. But then if you go to Northern Ireland, for example, the accent sounds harder automatically. So it does depend on region as well. Okay, guys. So let's go with one more. Okay. So our conclusions on something. Okay. So effectively, what we really want to say is, now, at an extreme level, you might say this, okay? Just in case you guys don't know, dumb is another word for stupid. Okay, so we have this. That conclusion makes no sense. That's so dumb. Okay, so you've had a discussion. Someone has come to a conclusion, and you think that's just stupid. What on earth are they saying? That's dumb. Okay. That might be what you think in your head. Now, how do we try and go about telling someone that, okay, their conclusion of something maybe is not the best conclusion? So I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to give you a minute. Can you try and come up with some suggestions as how you might be able to try and tell someone that you disagree with their conclusions? What can we do? How can we soften this language? I'll give you guys a minute, and then I'll give you my answers. And then we'll go into a little activity at the end. So, like I said, guys, we've got that conclusion. Don't forget, conclusion is when you've looked at an argument or you've discussed something, and you're coming to your opinion on it, basically. Makes no sense. So you're saying that you really don't understand what they are saying, how they are thinking, and you might hear the word, dumb. Okay. There was a film called Dumb and Dumber, which is the same as saying stupid and stupider. I would say generally, guys, try and avoid the word stupid in English. You don't need to use it. Okay, I mean, in formal situations, sometimes it's the best word. But if you are in an, if you're at school, if you're in an academic, educational, or professional working environment, it's best to avoid the word stupid when, as much as possible. Leodina says, I feel that conclusion is not complete. If I may say so, you can get it better. Okay, I really like that sentence, Leodina. The only thing I'm going to say is, I think you can make it better. Just change the word get for make. But that's a really good suggestion. De Burke says, that is so rare idea. That is such a rare idea. Actually, you've given me an idea for a future lesson, De Burke, and that is the difference between so and such. Maybe I'll try and introduce that later on in the week. But yeah, that's such a rare idea. Well, the thing is, that doesn't mean it's negative. If you say that's such a rare idea, it might be positive. Alida says, that conclusion is quite meaningless. You should give another thought. I would say that is nearly there. You should give it more thought. So, Alida, instead of saying you should give another thought, I would go with you should, first of all, we do need it. So you should give it more thought. Okay, then that would be good. I think that conclusion is not exhaustive. Okay, I know what you're trying to say there, Roberto. It doesn't quite carry the same meaning in English that I know you're going for. So I will come up with a suggestion. A better way of trying to say what I know you're trying to say there. Marek says that conclusion is impractical. Impractical. I think you mean. Yes, I think you mean impractical there. I think that's just a spelling mistake there, Marek. Okay, so let's go in with some suggestions here. One, okay, I'm going to first address Roberto's thing here. I think that conclusion is not exhaustive enough. What we could say is, to really get your meaning, because you're saying that you're trying to say that you haven't explored the issues enough to come to a better conclusion. So you could say, I don't believe I don't believe that conclusion reflects enough I would say this, Roberto. You could say, I don't believe. Now, if you go in with the term, I don't believe, this means it's an opinion. That I don't believe that conclusion reflects the amount of thought required. This is quite a good one. So someone comes up with a conclusion and you're effectively saying that is not a good enough conclusion. It doesn't take, you haven't thought about the subject enough. You haven't thought about everything enough. So you can say, I don't believe that conclusion reflects, meaning shows, the amount of thought required. So reflects, in this case, shows, and required simply means needed. Okay. Number two, okay, so we're saying here, just to remind myself, actually, the conclusion makes no sense. That's so dumb. Okay, you could say, Okay, here's one way to do it. And I'll explain to you what I mean by this. I find that conclusion lacking in cohesion. Now, if you remember, we looked at the word lacking, meaning not enough. But what do I mean by cohesion? Now, cohesion is something that teachers always look for in your writing and even in speaking, meaning sense. Can I follow the conclusion? Okay, so cohesion is to do with being able to follow what has been said or written. If you can't follow it, it means it's lacking in cohesion. If you can follow it, then it means yes, there's cohesion to it, or it's cohesive. Effectively, let's put it this way: cohesion, complete. Lacking in cohesion, incomplete. Incomplete. What is going wrong here? Okay, follow all the points. Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, so cohesion. If it's positive, then it's complete. And if it's not complete, then you'd say lacking in cohesion. So if it's complement, you would say, okay, you would say that's a cohesive idea, for example. If you want to put a positive spin on it. Cohesive. There we go. So I'll just show you what it looks like when you use it as a positive. So you could say, if you want to say, okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, that conclusion is cohesive. That conclusion is cohesive. So that would be positive. Negative, that conclusion is not cohesive enough. That's another way of doing it, actually. Let me put that in. So that can be number 3. That conclusion is not cohesive enough. Okay, so it's not complete enough. So this is when you're sort of a little bit stuck. So you can understand some points of their conclusion, but you can't understand all of it. You're not sure how they've come to some opinions within that conclusion. So this is why this is a good one to know. That conclusion is not cohesive enough, or I find that conclusion lacking in cohesion. Okay, now just in case you're wondering what's the difference, cohesive, that's an adjective. Cohesion, the one in number 2, is a noun. So, task. I'm now going to put some sentences that are incorrect in terms of they are too hard, they are too rude. You need to give me your alternatives. So, let's begin. That is a idiotic. That is an idiotic suggestion. 2, that opinion is stupid. And finally, number 3, Now, you've got these three things. Now, it doesn't, I'm going for the extreme here. It doesn't mean every opinion, that's not complete is stupid. It doesn't mean that every conclusion that's not complete is dumb. You're at that stage where, okay, I'm not sure what words to use. I know that's the negative word I could use, and they would understand that I don't agree with them. But I know that this is not the best language to use, and it doesn't really show what I really feel or what I really think. But I'm just trying to say that I just don't think it's a good idea or suggestion or conclusion. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So what I would like you guys to do is tell me your alternatives. So tell me what your alternatives for 1 would be. Tell me what alternatives for 2 would be, and tell me what your alternatives for 3 would be. Okay. I've just realized that maybe this would have made more sense if I put A, B, C. Never mind. So guys, if you're watching this later, we're looking at this 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. Okay, number 1, that is an idiotic suggestion. Number 2, that opinion is stupid. Number 3, that conclusion makes no sense. It sounds dumb. Let me just rewrite that one. There's a mistake there. That should be it sounds dumb. Number 3, error correction. It sounds dumb. Okay, that should be it sounds dumb, not it is sounds dumb. Bad English. So, Leondina says, for 1, I feel that is not your best suggestion. That's an alternative. That's one way you could go. Be careful of the pronoun you're there. That's not your best suggestion. Depends how you say it, really. But I would accept it. Roberto says, I don't believe that is the most advisable suggestion. Roberto, I like it. I feel that opinion is lacking in cohesion. For number 2, yes, I think that's good. That works. Good use of the word, the terms I feel and I believe or I don't believe. Those are good examples of how you can you can show your opinion. A leader says, for number 1, that's not the most advisable suggestion. Number 2, I don't think that is the best point of view. And 3, I find that conclusion lacking in cohesion. Really good answers there, Elida. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys more time for the others. As always, if I am speaking too fast, please let me know in the live chat section. It can be a little bit difficult to know how fast I need to speak at times. I know we have people of different levels. So if you find that I'm speaking too quickly, just let me know in the live chat section. I would say, guys, make sure you do take down the answers that we've looked at today and have a go at trying to use them in the next time you have a discussion with someone. Even if it's informal, try and use them just in terms of practicing. This is this is really important from learning a language. Okay, when you come across new language, you might not find yourself in the right situation because it's too informal. It's not formal enough. Okay, but you do want to try and know how to use that language when you need it. Therefore, just try and use it. When having a discussion, even if it's informal, you need to try what we call activate the language. You need to get into the habit of just using the language, just trying to say it, or write it down as well. Roberta says, for number 3, I believe that conclusion is not well thought out enough. I like that. I like that one, Roberto. Well done. And DeBuck says, for number 2, I feel that you can go with better opinion. Go is going to be the wrong verb there. You could say, I feel that you Let's change it with could as well. I feel you could reach a better, but this is an opinion. Uh, okay, well, reach is going to be for a conclusion, really. So maybe you could say, I think your opinion can be. Mm, here we go. Debug. You could save this. That opinion, so I believe that opinion requires, meaning needs, requires more work or more development. Okay, that gets your opinion across. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like the video as well. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 3 o'clock, with another live lesson. Sandra says, thanks, Richard. Sorry I have to go. Wish you a nice evening. Thank you, Sandra, for joining, and have a good evening. So, guys, to everyone who has participated in the lesson today, and there were a lot of you in the live chat, thank you so much for participating in the lesson. And it's great to see. I know we have lots of different levels here and lots of different nationalities. So thank you as well, Evelina. You too, Roberto. You too, Alida. And Marek, you as well. Arena F, you as well. Thank you for joining again. And to everyone else who might have been watching. Take care. Have a great evening. I'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock with another lesson. Take care and bye for now. And if you have a level test tomorrow, good luck. You're welcome, Elia. Thank you very much.